Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiskey Book. We are continuing with the author John Gwynne in our Whiskeys and Books series. And today, last time we did the Bloodsworn saga, and the time for that we did the Shadow of the Gods from the Bloodsworn saga. Lighting's kind of bad on that, hopefully you can see that. And I had mentioned that in that first book that the battle scenes were somewhat disappointing, not up to John Gwynne's standards. And after reading and completing the trilogy we're going on today, Blood and Bone, I think I understand why. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Whiskey Book. So, why was I disappointed in the Bloodsworn trilogy, the first book, Battles? And I kind of mentioned in my other videos, and you can go back and check if you'd like, kind of liken them to Batman, the old TV show where you got the pow, kapow. You know, it seemed like we weren't doing the blow-by-blow battle scenes that John Gwynne is so known for. And boy howdy, do I know why. He needed a break. So we're doing, I only have A Time of Dread. This is the first book in the Of Blood and Bone series. This series takes place about 100 years after up here the Faithful and the Fallen series, which we compared to Wild Turkey products. Faithful and the Fallen, one of my favorite fantasy series ever. John Gwynne, the story is amazing. And I read the first two books, A Time of Dread and A Time of Blood, out of this series, and it was good. I missed my characters from the Faithful and the Fallen. They're really good characters in this book, and it took me a while to kind of get going with them. They just didn't, to me, stand up to what was in the past. And then I listened to an audiobook, but got through the last book, A Time of Courage, and man, did that change everything. It ties both those series together, Faithful and the Fallen and Of Blood and Bone, and it into I think it was a 20-hour battle scene with so much in between the battles, and even though there wasn't much time in between the battles, that the interpersonal relationships were so well done, and it was almost exhausting how much fighting was going on, but it was done so well. You want to talk about sword cuts, blow by blow, what kind of swords, almost kind of this down to what steel is used, but in a good way. This book, or this series, Time of Dread is good. It sets it up. Time of Blood, there's some twists that kind of put you on edge and really cool and makes you want to read A Time of Courage, but it took me forever to get to A Time of Courage. I just had so much going on. I read the first two and I was like, okay. But then A Time of Courage, I am not kidding. It is battle after battle. It is the best battle book I've ever read, heard, whatever. It's Lord of the Rings, the Battle of Pelennor Fields meets the Hobbit's Battle of Five Armies meets Bernard Cornwell's best battle writing. Who else can we throw in there? It is amazing. I couldn't sleep a couple nights. Almost like it took me forever to fall asleep because I just wanted to listen to more and more, and they're so intense in the battles, and the characters are so good. You have Balor One Eye, who is in the Faithful and the Fallen. He's a giant with one eye who swings a big hammer, and he comes across some different weapons in this, and the other giant folk who ride giant bears, and you have talking crows, Craft the Crow, or the Raven. There's animal companions, there's love stories, you get a feeling of coming of age. So this book, best battle book ever, hours and hours upon battle scenes, intense personal conflict. You have scorned lovers, you have you have so many different characters. You have the hunters from the north who, as you expect in your, if you're watching this, you've probably read fantasy before or seen it. You have your hunters who can sneak through the woods and carry the axe and sometimes the bow. And then you have, what I really like in this book is there's two big factions that fight each other, and the two of the main characters are with these two factions, and they're akin to what the Mongols were, horse archers, and they describe the armor and how they can shoot off of a horse with the bow, and how they live on the horse, and they live on the plains and in the huts and the yurts. And you don't see that very often in fantasy, that setting, and it plays so well in this book. And it ties in. Again, we have giants riding bears, and we have other giants riding dregs, which are dragons who can't fly. And there's sort of dragons in here, but they're more realistic. They're more like big lizard things that you would expect in a real world, not these cool, scaly, the main fantasy dragons that we're accustomed to. The characters, the animals, the companions in this book are described as you think they would be in the real world. Everything leads up to I'm going to jump ahead to the end. I won't spoil it. I'm just going to say it's worth getting there. So we kind of talked about this in The Faithful and the Fallen, but in this series it continues. The Kadashim, Ben Elim. You can tell there's some probably biblical references. The Ben Elim are the white-winged. You would think of angels. They don't act like them, but they look like them. White-winged, flying, almost semi-demigod creatures who are stronger, faster than everybody else, versus the Kadashim, who are leathery, black-winged creatures of the same ilk, but they're the evil ones, and they're definitely evil, but the Ben Elim, maybe not all good either. So you got to get through the series to understand. It's complicated. What's really cool about these books is it's not simple. It's not like easy. It is easy fantasy and it isn't. There's some complexity to it that to you get understanding of how some people think and why they make the decisions that they do. And they don't always make the best decisions. Let's put it that way. And then you have, I can't go too, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some different beings that come about because of some bad decisions that have been made or some wrong decisions that turn out to be maybe right. And I'm just going to leave it there. Just know that not all your favorites are going to make it. That's the other combination. You got a little Game of Thrones in this. About the time you go in this book and you're like, man, the good guys are always like plot armor or always winning. And they're not really plot armor, but they're always winning. They're always getting this. And all of a sudden they're not. And it's like, oh, okay. Can we go back to having my favorite characters again? So, but it adds so much depth and realism. And I don't usually like zombies. There's an element of zombies in here, the Revenant, that work in this book. I'm not a zombie fan, but and they're not zombies. They're the Revenant. They're made by the magic, and I'll get into the magic system in a second. But it works in this book. Every character, every nationality, every ethnicity works in this book. It is, and there's you want to talk about diverse culture. There is a diverse culture who come together, who have to band for the final battle. And the final battle isn't like 20 pages. The final battle is like a quarter of the book. It's amazing. If you like anything to do with fighting, read all the other books and then set this one aside and take a breath and get ready, and you'll love it. So what that made me think is that ending in Time of Courage, now again, I only have the hard copy of A Time of Dread, which is the first book. A Time of Courage lives up to its name, and I think it is one of the most underrated series of fantasy out there. I watch BookTube, I watch WhiskeyTube, I watch a lot of videos on other things, and I hardly ever see this series pop up, and I can't, to me, it's a gem. Again, the first two books, they're not bad at all. They're really good. It's just after you read The Faithful and the Fallen, you're like, I miss my characters, because this takes place about 100 years after that series, so you're missing some people. But there's still some there. Balor's still there. Balor One-Eye, one of the greatest characters ever written into any series ever. You have Joe Abercrombie's Glocta. You have John Gwynn's Balor One-Eye. Those are two that come to mind as top characters. So, got to get off the book, but it's just how I'll remember Time of Courage. Greatest battle book ever. Simple as that, and very underrated. And so what am I comparing? What are we relating today? Relating to some maybe underrated whiskeys. And what I mean, how do I describe underrated whiskeys? Because you probably see the thumbnail here. Like, I have Old Forester 1910. I'm getting glare off the light. I'm hoping you can see that. Is in a lot of whiskey tubes and a lot of new, hey, this is your new whiskey. If you're new to whiskey, drink this. That would be a better way to say that. Words are hard. So in a way, it's not underrated, but in a way, I always watch the seasoned whiskey tubers go away from the 1910, and they always say, oh, it's so good, and it always does well in blinds. Does really well in blinds. And I just think, because I moved off it a little bit, I think it's underrated for the seasoned vet. That one's about, so what Old Forester is, it's part of the Whiskey Row series from Brown-Forman. It's 93 proof. We'll get to the flavors, but it's a staple for anybody wanting to get into whiskey. Well, the Old Forester Whiskey Row line is pretty dang good. I like the 1920. I know that. The 1910 has been a little while, so we'll see how it does in this blind. Second one, and it's about $55 in my area. Second one I have is Remus, and Remus is 94 proof, so really close. It's about $40 in my area, and that's why this one is underrated. This one sits, when I go to the whiskey store, the liquor store, the whiskey store. Yeah, that's the only thing I look at, so it doesn't have anything else. The George Remus isn't on the bottom shelf. It's not on the middle shelf. It's not on the top shelf. It sits in a weird area in between. And I picked it up one day, and I didn't want to, because to me the bottle, yes, I judge a book by its cover. The bottle, the old dude on there, that's George Remus, and he plays huge into whiskey culture, and whiskey wouldn't be what it is, bourbon wouldn't be what it is without him. But I don't necessarily want to see the old guy on the label. I think it's kind of a ugly bottle. But I tried it, and the stuff seems really good. And it's about $40, and it holds up, I believe, to some other good stuff. And it sits there and gets dust on it more than a lot of things, so I believe it's underrated. Other one I have here, 1792. This is a Sazerac company. 1792 is part of Sazerac company. This is 93.7 proof. Also, underrated. This used to be about $26 in my area. I've been seeing it close to $40 at some times. So between $30 and $40. Bourbon goodness here. Underrated. I think it's starting to finally catch on a little bit. We'll see how it does in this. And then the last one I have, Evan Williams Single Barrel. I actually love the colors on this bottle. I think they just stand out. It's how I would do art. This is a Heaven Hill product, single barrel, 86.6 proof. It's a little less than the others, but we're all right in the same, oh, I don't know, the same proof area. We're within a few points there. Wife has poured all four of these out. I don't know what's in my glasses. I don't know which bourbon is in which, so this is a blind. This is going to be a surprise to me, and we're going to see what we have. So first one, and I have my I gotta not do this. I have the bottles lined up in front of me, but that doesn't mean that what's in the glasses is lined up in front of the bottle, so I need to offset them so I don't have the trick in my mind into saying that's what this is. All right, first one, on the nose. That is sharp vanilla, new term, sharp vanilla. A little bit of maple. maybe a tinge of banana, but it's like, I don't know, but if there was such a thing as a sour banana. With a little bit of smoke on the edge. I a lot of times find tobacco on the edge, and I'm getting just a hint of that on the edge of the glass. All right, first drink. Definitely some oak or wood char. Just, it's very bourbony. If you watch my channel at all, you know that's one of my favorite terms. It's just bourbony. It's vanilla, it's caramel, it's oak. The oak is a little bit sharp. It's not bad. It get vanilla on the palate and on the finish a little bit. The finish goes into the back of the throat. Doesn't last overly long. The barrel char and a little bit of vanilla sit on the back of the throat. I didn't get my oyster crackers for this round, so I'm going saltine, so bear with me here. Okay, first one was caramel, vanilla, and oak. Sharp oak. Okay, second one. That's almost the same flavors, except the oak is toned down. Instead of sharp, it rolls onto the nose. The smell is a rolling, smoother. I hate to use the term smoother, but as far as the smell goes, it's smoother, whereas the other one's sharp. Those are antonyms, so yes, I can use smooth in this situation. Not, maybe a little tobacco. I'm getting a little raspberry on this one. The vanilla is a little more powerful. It's like vanilla extract. That one's better. That one's better right off the bat, just because it's the first one, the oak is sharp. This one, not much finish though. This one on the palate, very vanilla, very vanilla. And again, the oak is a softer oak. Maybe that's, instead of smoother, it's a softer oak. The other one's sharp, this one's softer. And that softer lets the vanilla kind of float above the tongue instead of trying to pound it in there. One more sip. I don't know why I'm thinking of leaves when I'm drinking this, because it's nothing like the leafy Scotch flavors that you get. It's completely opposite of that. It's very brown sugar. Maybe that's what it is. Getting something different. All right, third one. All right, this one's kind of similar to the second one. Caramel, vanilla. I don't get the proof. I don't get the barrel. Usually you get more barrel as the proof goes up, and then the barrel, if you go higher and higher in proof, the barrel flavor turns into leathery. Can be either go chocolatey, leathery, or it gets really stringent. This has almost a touch, a very light touch of potpourri on it. Little floral. All right. I'm getting, first thing on the palate, I'm getting young. And young, I like a wheat field, like what I get when I taste young whiskeys is a lot of, I grew up on a ranch and we did, cut grass for hay. And after you cut the grass and the sun comes out and everything gets dry, you have these, in some fields, these stalks of where the wheat was cut, and it has a smell to it, and that's what I'm getting on here. And there is no finish. No finish at all. That's oaky vanilla with just a hint of a nut. Like a walnut, or not a cashew, like a walnut. That I know what this one is. And yep, there we go. Maple syrup, banana, a little bit of chocolate cake, a lot of maple syrup right there. Like maples, it's like you put a banana, put a little bit of vanilla ice cream on it, and pour maple syrup on it, and you mix it all up. That's, oh, with a little chocolate cake in there. This is dessert. In the middle in the middle. I haven't always gotten this on this one, and again, I know which one this is. I'm getting a little bit of chocolate-covered strawberry. Strawberry, banana. It's almost like morning cereal if you cut up strawberries and bananas and put it in with like Cheerios. Oh, that's really good. Such a different flavor than everything else. It is just slaps the banana right in the middle of the tongue. That creamy goodness I'm talking about goes down the sides a little bit. Like eating, like the aftertaste of eating pancakes with a lot of maple syrup on it. Maybe more like French toast. You slather the French toast with butter and then maple syrup, and it's not the when you take the bite. It's after you've swallowed that lingering taste that get a little bit of that. Yeah, that's so. This is almost not fair. This is Balor One Eye right here. This is the unbeaten, undisputed champion of. I'm always going to do good in blinds, and I'm going to tell you right now where that's probably going to be pretty good. So our main face-off here is between 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go back to 1, 2, and 3 real quick. Here we go. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. I don't need to do the 1910 anymore. I know which one that is. I don't have to look at the number. But the cool thing is coming off of the dark 1910, I'm already getting more on the nose off of glass number 3. And it's funny because I did the 1910, I'm getting more banana on this now. It's good. It's really easy to drink. It's soft. It's soft vanilla with light caramel with a little bit of. This is more like I talked about mixing the banana and the vanilla ice cream. This is like if you just cut a piece of banana off and put it with a bunch of vanilla ice cream, let it melt a little bit, and then had it. That's what that one is. Oh, okay. Go to number 2. The caramel just pops out now. Now there's not a whole lot to it. It's basically a one-trick pony here. That one's richer than number 3. That one just has a deeper flavor. Get a caramel vanilla, just swirl right on the front, right on the, not the tip of the tongue, but right past the tip of the tongue, and then kind of now I'm getting a little buttery cream going down the side. Yeah, this one's got little. Seems weird comparing the viscosity here, but they're pretty similar. Not a whole lot of difference between these 3, to be honest with you. Okay, go back to the first one, and this one is a little bit airier. Has a spring summer day. I know that's not a real smell, but it's light vanilla, light caramel, spring day. It's not effervescent. It's not quite there yet. Little bit of youth in the bottom. And then you taste it and there's a little fruit on there. That is interesting. All right, maybe I need a cracker again. That was weird. I didn't get that the first time. More raspberry on this one. This is just vanilla caramel. That's what it is. Vanilla caramel. And this one, I get the youth on the nose still. Light vanilla, light honey maybe. None of them have a finish that's worth talking about really, so. Okay, it's between 1 and 2. 1 and 2, here we go, here's 1. All right. Go between 1 and 2, here we go. Here's 2, here's 1. 1 has a little bit better finish, so. Got our order. Battle is over. The fight is won. Has Azeroth been beaten? By the way, Azeroth is the bad guy in this series and in The Faithful and the Fallen, sort of, kind of. You got to read it to figure it out. There are so many characters, and I got to go back to the books real quick. Just to understand. The books will follow a character till the end of their path. And that end might come soon. It might come in the middle. They might make it to the end. That's what makes the John Gwynne so special as an author. It's just so many characters that they're built up that could become your favorite, and they don't all end the way you think they would. It's just really, really neat. Okay, last place is glass. It's 3 in my line. On the bottom, it's glass 2, so I've got to find out which bottle is glass 2, and I'll be darned. It's the one that won all the awards, Evan Williams Single Barrel. Does that surprise me? Nope. Sure doesn't. I got this bottle because I heard so many good things about it, about all the awards and everything. I like it. I never loved it. So, doesn't surprise me. All right. Third place, glass. Lineup number 2 on the bottom, it's number 1. Like I said, I don't know who these bottles belong to, so that is, yep, 1792. The Bourbon one. That also doesn't surprise me because when I drink that, it's just really good. It's just really vanilla, caramel, not real high proof. If you're just getting into bourbon, that is a, don't make me use this word, a quintessential bourbon. All right, which means second place, glass 1 in my line, number 4 is, yes, the Remus, which does not surprise me at all. I really, really like that Remus. This video, the thumbnail is titled Underrated. This book series is underrated. To me, I didn't plan it this way, but that is how I would have liked it to come out, that the Remus is probably the most underrated, because 1910, let's be honest, is it underrated for the connoisseur? Yeah. I think that it gets put away too soon, if that makes sense. 1910's number 1. I knew that as soon as I saw the glass and how dark it was, and I tasted all these other ones. It's kind of neat to put them up against all these other ones to make sure. But when you set them side by side, it's not even a comparison. This has 4 or 5 different, it's banana, it's vanilla, it's maple syrup. There's a little bit of berry on there. I go back, oh my goodness. I go back in there and I get more berry. And then there's the banana, and it's like you're mixing that vanilla ice cream with the different, the strawberries and the maple syrup, and you're putting in a little pancake at sometimes. It just changes a little bit, and that's what makes it interesting and neat. The other 3, buy whatever, if you can get a hold of any one of them, go ahead. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this, and then I'm going to go see the lovely lady who poured all this, see what she comes up with. Maybe someday I'll get her on the video. But anyway, thanks for joining me here on Whiskey Book, and if you have not read John Gwynne and you like fantasy, please, 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 please jump in on those. The Courage of One Soul plays the most, has the most impact. Time of Courage couldn't be a better name for the final book. You feel the courage, you feel the decisions being made. You don't know that your favorites are going to make it. It's just read it, and thank you for watching Whiskey Book, and I'll see you next time.